So I guess I'm the recording person. I've known Ian for a long time. We used to, me and my friends used to run this venue in our basement called Cafe Ballistico. And Ian would play there with his, with this guy, Scottish McMillan. And that's when I first met him. And Ian was at a party, and he's just like, hey, do you still do recording? I'm like, that's all I do. That's all I do. He started by just doing this piano vocal stuff, which I thought was a little too musical theater. And he agreed. And so then we kind of started to figure out how to make him sound more like what he likes. So now I'm trying to push him to do something yet different again. Well, the fun thing about this, of Ian's process in particular, is that when he comes in, he's the only person who knows what's going on.
Oh, I screwed up because there's a typo. I'm reading my typo.
So he comes in and he'll have the piano part pretty much done. Then he'll do a drum track, and then he'll do at least the basic vocals. And then from there, we bring in the other two guys that he mostly works with, which have changed. You know, in past albums, he's used different guys.
When I write at home and record at home, I have a little mixer at home that I basically put my piano and drums and vocals on. I send the rough draft to Tim, Dave, and Eric, and when Dave and Eric come into the actual studio, where what you're seeing here, they throw their ideas into the song, and you know, it's not always 100%, yeah, that's perfect, or no way, we're not doing any of it. It's kind of a, you know, try this, or that works, but not at this part, or so it's always a juggling act.
But you know, in recent times, he's been using Dave and Eric, and they come in and don't know what's happening, don't know what's going on, and that's exciting. Yeah. I mean, I come from a very strong musical background, so usually my influence is trying to make sure everything's musically sound. That the music has a reason for existing, and that each part is not fighting each other, that things are cooperating properly, and making sure that the arrangements end up that way. Straight adrenaline. And then in the end, mixing it to accommodate that same purpose of having a focus to each section, having a purpose to each part, and in the end, serving the vocals, which is, when you're making vocal music, generally the vocals are the primary thing. And it's easy to forget about that, especially if you're the vocalist, but you know, I always try to encourage people like Ian, like, you're singing. If you're singing, that's what people are going to be listening to. I have a feeling this is going to be the kind of part that might be a handful of voices.
Yeah, it's going to be.
So why don't I'm going to leave this one in there, and let's just start, like, try to double it with better versions. Okay. So in the end, this will end up being like a backup double. Okay. But just so we know we're getting the timing right.
Right.
And it might take a few times, but let's try it. So you don't need to do the like, you know, obviously there's the band who everybody kind of like works out their own thing, and when they come in here, everyone mostly knows what they're going to play. There's those kind of things. There's the solo artist, which is not what I'm not considering Ian, even though he is a solo artist. There's like the singer-songwriter kind of person who comes in and only has their song, and then count on me to help them come up with everything else. And then Ian's somewhere in between there, where he comes in with most of the parts written by him, in his case, and then brings in a couple guys to flush it out and add something kind of, add an element that's not him, because I think that's important to Ian. And it's important to most songs, is to add more than one brain. Good. All right, let's move on. Cool. Ian's process goes really smoothly, and actually we cranked to the fact that we can crank out a song in more or less like 5 sessions or so, like 5 medium sessions. That's pretty impressive, but a lot of that's because he puts so much work in ahead of time. Ian's pretty set on what the basic part is. He's also pretty flexible as to how everything's going to change with other people. And so that in that case, for me, it's kind of easy.